Hey yo, what it do? What's going on, y'all? I'm Naye Liggines for those of y'all that's new to us, man, and welcome to Elevation Talks. Y'all, this is one of my favorite places to be, which is on the mic talking to you. One of the things that I know for a fact that I've been called to do is help people to lead them out of a space of being stuck, right? And then also transition and become who God has called them to be so that you can do all that God has called you to do. I'm going to let you know because maybe somebody ain't told you, but you have breath in your lungs. Why? Because God has an assignment for you, man. But let me jump right into what I want to talk about today, y'all. The craziest thing happened the other day, right? So, boom, check this out. The other day, I'm outside putting air in my tire, right? And one of my tires was on 19, but it needed to be at 36. And I'm using my little portable air pressure machine, you know what I mean? But here's the thing. The battery was low, all right? I hadn't charged it from a previous time I had used it. So it was like less than halfway. So I'm standing there thinking, all right, even if it just get to like 25, I'll be good. And I didn't even question that thought, right? I just accepted it. Like, even if it just even if it don't go all the way, just a little bit, I'll be cool with that. So I'm like, yeah, 25 is probably all it's going to give me. So I hook it up, and then I press start. Y'all, I'm literally sitting there watching the numbers go up. 20, 21, 22. And then it hit 25. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, bet, we made it. But the machine didn't stop. Oh, come on. It kept going. 26, 27, 28. And now I'm looking like, man, hold up. 29, 30. Y'all, the machine hit 36 and it never died. Listen, I just stood there like, wait a minute. If it was up to me, I would have stopped at 25. And that had me messed up for a second because I realized nothing was wrong with the machine. The only thing that was off was my expectation. And let's be very clear. This wasn't even about the tire. That was about me. That was about how I was thinking. That was about how we move in life. Because if we could be real, right? How many times do we do that? We start something and already expect for it to only go so far. You see a little bit of progress, but in your mind, you're preparing for it to stop. So instead of expecting 36, you settle at 25. Not because that's all that's available, but because that's all you believe was possible. Y'all, well, I feel like, look, but look, oh, come on, y'all, come on. Don't leave me out here by myself. Man, listen, first thing, you didn't trust what was already in motion, right? Something starts working in your life, and instead of letting it flow, you start questioning it. Is this really gonna last? What if this fails? What if this falls apart? What if I lose this? So mentally, you brace for impact, right? Even when nothing is going wrong, you are bracing for impact. You start settling. And I'm talking about you settle early. You start negotiating with your own potential. If it just gets here, I'll be okay. If I could just make this amount, I'm good. If this opportunity just work a little bit, I'm fine. And it's like, who told you to shrink the vision like that? Who told you to do that? Who told you to lower the expectation? See, you interrupt what God is trying to complete. You pull your hand out too early. You stop showing up fully. You stop believing fully. And then you stop expecting fully. And again, not because it stopped working, but because you assumed that it would. And check this out. The machine never stopped. The process never stopped. The power never ran out. If anything was going to stop that moment, it was going to be me. And my limited way of thinking, my own limited belief systems. And that's when it hit me, y'all. A lot of us aren't stuck because things aren't working. We're stuck because we won't believe they will keep working. So we start moving differently. We start thinking smaller. We start preparing for less. And then we call that being, quote unquote, being realistic. Come on, how many times you done told yourself, I'm being realistic? No, I hate to bust your bubble, but what you're really doing is lowering your expectations. Yeah, what you really, because truth be told, you don't want to be disappointed, right? Truth be told, you don't want to be caught off guard in the event that it stopped working. So you start limiting your expectations. You start lowering your belief system, your thought process. You start shrinking. But sometimes faith isn't about starting something, but it's about letting it run. It's about letting it reach full capacity without you stepping in early trying to control the outcome. And see, if we're going to be 100, how many times are we caught trying to manage the outcome? Well, if I keep just, doing this, and then that should yield this, that should be the result. And it's like, gosh, I feel like I'm like being the bearer of bad news today. But it's like, I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you are not in control of the outcome. You not. And the reason you get frustrated is because you're trying to manage the outcome. You think it's lying in your hands. Why I feel like I'm about to preach. Well, look, why I feel like I'm about to preach a word. I'm telling you. Listen, imagine if I would have unplugged that machine at 25, right? I would have never known it had 36 in it. I wouldn't have. And that's how a lot of us are living. We keep stopping at 25 and calling that your limit. When in reality, you've never actually let your life go all the way. You don't even know what your real limit is because you keep stopping midway. You keep turning around midway. So here's what I want you to do. And I'm right there with you. I'm doing this too. We walking together. The next time you working on something, don't put a 25 expectation on a 36 situation. Did you hear me? Come on, listen. Do not put a 25 expectation on a 36 situation. Don't shrink it before it has the chance to fully play out. Don't interrupt something that's still working in your favor. Let it run. Let it stretch. Let it reach its full capacity. And let God finish what he started without you stepping in with doubt. Because the truth is, it was never about whether it would work. It was about whether you would let it work. Y'all, as I'm talking about this, I don't know how many of y'all old school, but there's this song that's playing in my mind. Work it out, God's got a plan for me. Work it out, work it out. Like, while we sitting up here lowering our expectations and trying to figure it out, God is already in the background working it out. But we never actually get to see the full fruition of that because we pull out too early. You understand what I'm saying? So listen, I'm walking with y'all. We doing this together. And I know you probably thinking like, okay, you used a tire analogy. How does that work for me? Put your own situation in there. Actually sit back and think about where you are in life. Where your limiting belief is keeping you stuck. Where is a situation happening in your world where you keep lowering your expectations? You keep shrinking yourself because you don't know if it's going to work out. But the thing about it is, if God is in the mix, it's going to work out. I didn't say that it was going to be easy, because he had already promised us trouble. So we already know that part. But you have to believe. You got to lift your hands off of it. Ooh, you got to get in a space of surrender. Like this. This the posture of surrender. I got both of my hands up. That means I ain't got my hands on it. I'm letting you do what you gonna do. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go. Listen. Let that sit. Look, as country, who is that? Country Wayne. Let that sizzle in your spirit.